All right, good evening and welcome to the Sunrise School Division regular board meeting for May the 5th. I'm going to call our meeting to order. My name is Paul Mangia. I'm the board chair. We are going to have O Canada. Please stand if you can do so.
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, you face your love and all of us command. With glowing hearts we freely rest, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land, glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Thank you to Whitemouth School for O Canada. Much appreciated. I'm going to ask Trustee Rowan with our treaty acknowledgement, please.
We acknowledge the traditional land upon which Sunrise School Division resides as Treaty 1 territory. We honor our partnership with Canada's original peoples and respect the gifts of Indigenous history, culture, and language. We commit to moving forward in partnership with our communities in a spirit of collaboration and reconciliation.
Thank you, Trustee Rowan. So some introductions tonight before we get underway. To my left is Superintendent Reed, and we have Secretary Treasurer Thiessen. We have Assistant Superintendent Fielberg. We have Trustee Boytson, Trustee Dent, Trustee Smith, Trustee Wilson, Trustee Rowan. We have our Executive Secretary to the Board, Sarah Scott, and we have Trustee Harris beside me. As well as in the room is that we have Tracy Weidman. She is our Purchasing Manager, and she's going to be giving a presentation tonight. As well as in the gallery, we have Serena Kloss. Serena is the president of the Sunrise Teachers Association. So welcome to everybody that is here, and welcome to the people online. We are missing one trustee tonight. Trustee Roland is not able to be with us tonight. So adoption of agenda. Be it resolved that the board approve our agenda. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Smith and seconded by Trustee Rowan. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 7-0. Thank you for that. Chair's comments. A reminder to people that are listening online is to send all your questions to jody.thiessen@sunrisesd.ca. Put your name and address of the sender included in the email. And during the question period later on tonight, we'll try to get to you. Well, we will get to your questions if we can go ahead and answer them. We have Share a Story, so I'm going to open it up to trustees about Share a Story. Trustee Rowan.
I attended the kindergarten orientation at Oakbank Elementary School. It was great to see so many parents there. When I inquired about the number of students registered next year in the Ukrainian kindergarten program, I was excited to hear they had 13 students enrolled for next year, which is a marked increase from this year's 4 students. I also had the opportunity to attend the spring concert at École de Gould School. They were celebrating 30 years of making music at EDS. They put on a fantastic show. There was a guest conductor who was the original band director when the program started. Parents and teachers joined the students on stage to perform, and there were student soloists singing, dancing, and showing off their yo-yo skills. The final number included the marching band Color Flags with an audience sing-along. There was also a large number of music scholarships presented throughout the evening. They pulled out all the stops for the show, and it was well received by all.
Thank you, Trustee Rowan. Anyone else? Trustee Smith?
I just wanted to remind everyone that Beaujeu Earlier Spring Tea is on May 7th from 2 to 4. Senior hour is from 1 till 2. And also at Edward Schreier, they have their Midsummer Night's Dream. That is the play that they're putting on. It's on the 6th, 7th, and 8th. Doors open at 6:30. Tickets are $15. You can get them from Erica Massey or from calling into the school.
Thank you. Anyone else? So I do want to share a couple things. The school division hosted all the PACs for a divisional PAC meeting with some coming together and some learning going on. We had a presentation by our superintendent about PACs and what they can and cannot do and clarify some roles, and we had some divisional administrators here talking about how their PACs run, successful PACs, and so thank you to everybody involved at the DPAC. We got some very good feedback from the people there that came. So on April the 30th, again, something that worked out really well. So thanks for all the people that were involved that did that. And again, this is the last week, the last Thursday for ArtSpeak, our divisional talent development program that runs out of Cedarwood. So 7 o'clock this Thursday is the last ArtSpeak presentation by the students, and I think there's 23 students that are there from around the division. Going to go ahead and show. One of the artists that's there is he's a drummer. His name is I met him today. Sorry, but he's quite talented, and you know, the kids love him. And so if you want to get a chance to see it, it's Thursday night. His name's going to come up, and I'm going to shout it out later on, just so everyone to know. But anyone else? Have I missed anyone? Okay, thank you. Board delegation. I'm going to turn it over to you, Jody.
Yeah, thank you. Tonight we get to feature one of our operations departments, our purchasing department. Usually we like to highlight between education and our education schools and our operating departments, and purchasing we'll actually see a number of operating departments for the next couple of meetings, and tonight purchasing is going to kick it off. Purchasing is a small but very busy department led by Tracy with her sidekick Shannon. They help coordinate delivery of furniture, working with the schools on what types of orders can they place, local purchasing, helping source those, and then the biggest part, they've been spending a lot of time. May 1st was the school spending deadline, and the key part and why we make a cutoff of May 1st is to make sure those goods are delivered by June 30th, so they hit our expenses in this fiscal year. So Tracy's been locked up in her office, making sure all those recs are making it out the door. So we're thankful that she can make it out and make a presentation tonight. I'll just put it on the screen here, and I'll let Tracy take it away.
Tonight my presentation is going to focus on divisional furniture. Real exciting topic. So there might be a little song and dance after, I don't know, just to wake you all up. But divisional furniture is the focus tonight.
Can you do that song and dance now? That's just...
No, you got to wait for it. Wait for it. The board has generously increased the annual budget to $125,000, which is shared between 19 schools. All procedures related to furniture purchases, surplus, and removal can be found under Section D of the Sunrise Reference and Procedure Manual posted on our website. We have 2 divisional spends per year. The summer purchase is an annual spend with dollars available to all 19 schools. In addition to the summer spend, additional dollars are available to schools once every 3 years on rotation. Purchasing maintains an inventory which is housed in the old bus garage in Beausejour, of furniture that could be redeployed within the division. Redeployment is a priority versus purchasing new. All quotes and pricing for furniture and appliances obtained through purchasing by reviewing contract pricing, as well as obtaining quotes from other suppliers for best overall quality and price. I work with schools on furniture projects to develop a multi-year plan to complete major purchases, such as full classroom replacements, library furniture, which is shown in this slide, and aging furniture. Library furniture is extremely expensive. The lounge on the right is approximately about $12,000. Library projects are examples of projects that are completed over a number of years, primarily due to cost. Picture on the right of just a classroom of for 20 desks and chairs, and a teacher desk and chair would run about $7,000 pre-tax. Depending on the desk and features required, the desks can range from $95 to well over $200 per desk. For the summer spend, schools submit their request to prioritize in terms of need in around March or April of each year. Requests are then reviewed and dollar amounts are allocated or to be allocated are determined by student FTE and total amount of budgeted spend for the summer. Some other determining factors for the allocations that are to be considered would be increased enrollment and emergent needs. Some examples would be broken desks or chairs. Budget requests from schools for the last couple of years confirmed a need to replace aging student furniture. The last 2 years, the request to schools was to focus on classroom furniture, example student desks, tables, and chairs when they provide their summer spend submissions. Purchase orders for this year have already been provided to vendors for summer delivery beginning the week of July 6th. For the rotational spend, eligible schools are outlined in the procedure for years 1, 2, and 3. The rotational spend is meant to provide dollars to support non-student furniture that might require replacing, such as teacher task chairs or classroom shelving. The dollars are significantly less than the annual spend. However, it does provide an opportunity for items that may not be a priority on their summer spend submission. Eligible schools can use these dollars as well to supplement their annual summer order. This is a pic of a science lab. Chem tables shown are approximately $810 per table, which equates to approximately $10,000 pre-tax and plus delivery for table replacement alone.
I gotta start making tables.
Oh yeah. Yeah, the chem ones, the chem surf ones are extremely expensive. The inventory at the old bus garage is consistently updated in our database as items are redeployed or removed from schools at their request. Forms are to be signed by schools and at the division level prior to removal or addition to the inventory. This is to ensure tracking of the furniture and keeps the inventory up to date at all times. Maintenance has purchased a software called QuickMate, which has the ability for the surplus inventory to be maintained electronically versus the manual spreadsheets that we do now. Any requests for removal would be entered at the site or school and electronically routed to purchasing to update and assign tasks for removal. Any furniture requests that are first sourced from our divisional inventory prior to purchasing new. Many emergent requests by schools throughout the school year have utilized the inventory as opposed to incurring costs or timelines for delivery, which can be further out than 8 weeks from the time of the order. What's listed in this slide is approximate numbers of furniture that have been redeployed over the last 2 years. This resulted in a cost savings of approximately $40,000 to the division over this 2-year period. It also supports sustainability as opposed to ending up in the landfill. Furniture pricing and quotes are reviewed firstly with items on contract or tender, as well as other suppliers for best overall quality and price. Sunrise does not support furniture purchases from non-commercial suppliers. Although Amazon is consistently provided as a sample of cost savings, the division does not support buying furniture from their third-party suppliers, which are not local and do not have the quality and durability as do the commercial or educational furniture suppliers. Sunrise piggybacks onto the Metro furniture tender and has allowed us significant savings over the years. We are currently noticing tariffs also being applied for non-tendered items. some examples of just pieces of furniture that have a tender price versus market would be, and these are just the most popular ones, 18-inch jive stool. So on contract, we have it for $97. And if we went to outside sourcing, it would be $209. So it's just over double. Horseshoe table, a contract is $429. Other suppliers is at $569. A two-drawer lateral filing cabinet on contract is $647, and outsourcing would be $1,489. A single pedestal teacher desk is $821 on contract, and market pricing is over $2,300. So over the last 3 years, we've spent well over $230,000 on the 585 student desks, the chairs, the tables, and the teacher desks that are listed there. So almost half the annual budget for furniture is going directly to improving comfort and the surroundings for student learning. These don't include bookcases, teacher task chairs, shelving units, appliance replacements, reception seating, assembly chairs, lab chairs. These are pictures of some recent library pieces purchased for Centennial School. The lounge on the right is approximately $3,500 for 3 student seating. So I just want you to remember this pic for the next slide. So this is my shout out to Centennial School. Dave and the students were so excited with the new library furniture that he sent me pics of the kids covering it completely. I was like, Dave, like, you're not showing the furniture. He sent me a pic with the note stating, I love all our stuff. He was so happy. He sent a big long email, which I appreciated. He went out of his way to say how much they appreciated the furniture. The success in purchasing isn't measured by the cost savings realized, but also in the student smiles and the staff appreciation for the product sourcing and support provided. Do you have any questions?
Thanks, Tracy. Any questions for Tracy? So Tracy, I have 2 of them.
Okay.
What's working well, and what are some of your challenges?
Challenges. I'll
I
start
want to know what's working well.
working well first, okay? I think that the piggybacking onto a lot of the tenders with Metro is really assisting us with cost savings. If we were just to piecemeal out, especially because we're a smaller division, so for us being allowed to just piggyback onto their tender is really significant cost savings, just as like I had said in some of the slides, like there's a vast difference. And it's not only in that, it's, paper, it's supplies, it's those kind of things where they have a lot more buying power than we would if we were just doing one-offs all over. So I would say that's really working well.
Are a lot of divisions allowed to piggyback?
No. There's the
So
only
why are
outside
we
of
allowed- Why are we allowed to piggyback?
because they like me. No.
You can answer that. That's all you go ahead and answer that.
You know what, the request was made like many years ago, probably just before I started in this role, and we just continued on with it. And we're extremely lucky because they don't even ask us to, do up any of the tenders or anything. They just always include us in everything they do, and we can jump on or jump off. Like some of them, I'm trying to think, like they do a big school supply tender that we do not participate in, but they'll do things like waste disposal, things like that that we don't participate in. But the furniture one is definitely a big one for us.
So, challenges.
I would say the biggest challenge would be the Amazon purchases and trying to steer everybody towards purchasing more local. It's convenient for them, and that's understandable. Like it just comes right to your door, and it has good pricing. But when you compare apples to apples, it's not always, it doesn't always have the warranty or the durability, or it's not, commercial quality, those kind of things. But so the argument will always be, but it's more, cost efficient to order from Amazon, and we get that. But there's certain things like the furniture piece we don't allow purchases from IKEA either for furniture. They wouldn't withstand our school environment. That's that's fine for residential, and Amazon has it in place too in residential. It's just we really try to steer everybody towards that local sourcing and purchasing. We have moved a lot to like the co-op hardware stores and home hardware as well. We found a lot that they have comparable pricing to use those, so there's more activity for purchasing with them in these months. But the biggest challenge, I would say, is the Amazon purchases, for sure.
Anyone else?
You mentioned that we piggyback with the city stuff. When you order something, do we have to wait to get it because we're like bottom of them, or are they
no.
stock items?
No. Sometimes it's stock items, but for instance, we will get our furniture orders sooner than Metro will this year for the summer. We went out, they have a deadline for the purchase orders to be sent in, but we met that deadline, and I've also indicated that we'll take delivery of those items starting the first week of July. So there was an issue a few years back because all of the school divisions are all ordering at the same time and wanting delivery at the same time. So there was an issue with the delivery, and not everything arriving in the schools by school startup. So we went out and said, okay, we're going to get our deliveries the first week of July, like starting then, and then so we're kind of one step ahead of the Metro divisions because they like to get theirs towards the end of August, which is there's 10 school divisions all trying to get deliveries at that time. So, but we aren't put to the bottom because we're smaller. They just look at it as a tender, and everybody's in on it.
Thanks, Tracy. Anyone else? So again, Tracy, thanks for coming out here tonight and taking the time and going ahead and doing this and sharing the information certainly about purchasing overall in general. I really didn't know what the answer was going to be to those two questions, so thanks to that. I probably understand why people want to go ahead and buy Amazon, and I understand why that maybe sometimes Amazon isn't the best place to go ahead and get it. It's more convenience. But no, thanks for that. Anyone else? We good?
Oh, yeah, right.
Yeah, it is. The red
I'm
button
going to do
here.
it in the parking lot.
All right, Tracy, thanks, and we expect you to stay for the last, 2.5 hours. That's okay.
Song and dance.
Yeah, I'm just teasing you. Thanks very much, Tracy. We appreciate it.
Song and dance. She promised one.
Trustee Harris, you want to go ahead and show us the song and dance? Go ahead.
You would have it.
Okay, while Tracy's wrapping up, we're going to move on. We have our minutes of our April 21st board meeting. So be it resolved, the board adopt our April 21st board meeting minutes. I need a mover and a seconder. Moved by Trustee Dent and seconded by Trustee Boytson. Any questions to those minutes? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 7-0. Thank you. We have the superintendent's report. Mr. Reed. Sorry, mic was not on. I won't start again. And we already heard a little bit tonight about our divisional PAC meeting, so I just want to, reinforce the thank yous to a couple of our school administrators, Dave Ogren and Anthony Penner, who came out and participated, and also to all of the PAC members from the schools that came out and spent an evening with us. Thank you for that. And then just one more highlight that's not on the report. I just want to share, and sorry, just pulling up another document here. We have a Sunrise teacher who is being recognized tonight at the University of Manitoba for outstanding achievement. And basically, the University of Manitoba provides a select and small number of outstanding graduating students with the opportunity to honor teachers who have made an important contribution to their education. And one of those graduating teachers at University of Manitoba selected École Edward Schreyer teacher Doreen Bowers as a person of significance who is an outstanding educator that made a difference, for them. And so Doreen is a teacher in Sunrise with 34 years of experience and dedication to the division, and she is being recognized tonight at the University of Manitoba. So congratulations to Doreen.
Trevor, how was Doreen selected?
The University of Manitoba allows a small number of graduating students, distinguished graduating students, to select a teacher from their past that's made a difference for them. And so one of these graduating students selected Doreen to be honored, and that's how she ended up there.
Thanks for clarifying that. That's pretty cool. Any questions for Mr. Reed? Okay, we have a board reporting schedule that's there. Again, if we want to change it, it's up to us. But again, that's what Trevor follows on a regular basis for us. Are we good with the board reporting schedule? Okay. We'll move forward to the Secretary Treasurer's report. Jody?
Thank you. Yeah, so I'm going to start it off with a letter I received. The board also received yesterday regarding the province, I guess, feels very generous, and they are actually issuing additional funds in the amount of $361,000 to the Sunrise School Division, recognizing eligible enrollment, impact on our bus routes. So they've identified there's a couple factors, and we are, I'm assuming, expected to be spending these dollars between now and the end of June. So we will be allocating it for probably one-time costs that we can improve on maintenance, potentially IT. We have made that motion to purchase additional access points for our wireless network. And of course, we've recognized that the Transportation Department, with the growing cost of fuel, this will help alleviate some of those pressures that department was seeing. So we'll see where and if the goal is to spend it all by the end of June. So, from there, I have my regular report prepared for the board. A lot of the departments have been busy trying to, like purchasing is indicated, they're working on this year-end spending. IT and myself have been touring some schools, discussing their computers, their interactive displays, their iPads, identifying what has been division owned and what the school has gone on their own budget and purchased. So we've identified their inventory and identified the growing cost of computer costs. As previously reported, computers we're seeing have doubled in price. We anticipate it'll be growing from this point on. This report also identifies a lot of projects that maintenance is doing for this current school year and anticipating and planning for the summer projects. So OBE, they are going to receive their office renovation. It's been long awaited. This project has been deferred probably for 4 years just because of other priorities in the school division. So that is something that's really important that we're happy to say we're getting that done. There's been constant updates for the board. Transportation has been always and still is looking for sub or spare bus drivers. Just a reminder to everybody, we still have the initiative where if you refer a bus driver, and this goes to even for students in the division, if you know somebody who might be interested in driving, a student can earn $1,000 just by referring someone who does obtain a driver's license to drive a bus, and if they have a couple routes or some experience running a couple months into the job. So there's some initiatives still set out there. And then we have, under our miscellaneous items, we're going to have a meeting with the town of Beausejour on May 12th to talk about the safety around Beausejour Early Years School. We've identified in previous meetings sidewalks are required, crosswalks, looking at options for the safety in that growing area around the school. And then working with the Dugald School Maintenance Department and the Dugald Daycare. A while back, the Dugald Daycare has asked for consideration for before and after school. It was kind of a pilot project for that school. It appears to be successful. We've had no complaints by the school administration. In fact, they don't even know the students are in the school before and after. It seems to alleviate and assist the community in there, the families that needed that support of before and after care. So they've asked if we can roll this out, what it looks like as full-time for the school year, if we have, and provide a space for them during the summer months, as well as PD days, spring break, and winter break. So there's been a lot of discussion between the union, the school administration, and the daycare. We are still in talks to kind of fine-tune this project a little bit, but it looks like we can green light it as soon as July 20th. So we'll see if we'll kind of give it the title of a pilot, because we don't have this at any other school, but it has been a request that we've seen from some families. This may assist even before and after school care again for transportation for some families as well. So it's something we'll give it a go, see if it works. They are aware that Dugald School is a growing community. It is something that if that space is going to be needed as a classroom, that this program will have to find a new facility. It has been outlined. So they're fully aware of some of the limitations of this, but at the same time, this might be something that helps the community and the families in that area. So that's it.
Thanks, Jody. Any questions for Jody? I have two, Jody. One is a follow-up about the May 12th. Are there any trustees that are able to go and join on the May 12th? Trustee Smith, you're going to be able to do that?
I expect to be there.
Okay. And I'm not sure if I can, but I'll confirm as to where we are. And then, Jody, is it so for the $361,000 that we just got from the government, because you know what, you had a great smile and they wanted to give us some extra money? Is there and you've got a plan for that? Could you sometime in June just give us a brief update as to kind of the spending of that $361,000? Okay, thank you for that. Anyone else for questions for Jody? Okay. So board business, we're going to move on to monthly enrollment. You have it there as for your information. One thing I did notice, we're down about just over 110, 120 kids. I guess that's just life, I guess, as to where we are. For me, I was just a little surprised about it, but that's I guess nowadays people moving and kind of where in the different schools, but just a notice for it. Yep.
Aside, there has been like that sort of small decline from October to January. So you see sort of the bigger drop off between kind of that January and February. A good chunk of that is grade 12 students that have graduated that have fulfilled all of their credits that aren't coming back for second semester. And so that wouldn't explain all of it, but that is certainly a part of it.
Thanks, Trevor, for that. Balanced school day report. I'm going to turn that to you.
Primarily, they're just there for information. In some years, the board has to make a motion to approve the continued use of the balanced school day for some of our schools. That action is not required, this year. We still have the 5 schools that are using the balanced school day, and none of them are up for renewal this year.
So in your opinion, I didn't ask you that, I didn't tell you I was going to ask this question. Is it working, or is it having any kind of difference, or do you know?
I'm just going to say it would probably almost be impossible to tell if the balanced school day is making a difference academically for students, with so many variables and factors, that lead to that. Really, at the end of the day, I would say this is nothing more than a preference. And so and you can reverse what I just said to say that the traditional school day works better than the balanced school day. That's not something I don't think that we would be able to determine. It really comes down to a preference for the school in terms of what works better for their operations.
This does give an opportunity for our children to have 2 lunches, a first lunch and a second lunch, or snacks, or those kind of things. And I'm teasing about 2 lunches. But are we observing, and maybe you don't know, that there is food for kids at those 2 times for us in our schools, and that seems to be working? I don't know that. I'm just asking the question. I don't know if you know that either.
Again, I don't think I'd be able to provide any evidence that the nutrition programs in our schools are, making a difference in student academic achievement. The province's mandate was to make it available, and all of our schools are, I would say, successful in making it, available. Just back to follow up on a couple of your comments there, all about the balanced school day. The perceived advantage about this balanced school day is one less transition, and instead of having sort of those 4 80 to 90 minute blocks of learning divided by 2 recesses and a lunch, you've got 3 longer uninterrupted blocks of learning of 100 minutes and only 2 transitions throughout the day. That's some of the theory behind it in terms of, there's not more learning time, but that learning time comes in bigger chunks, so teachers can have more uninterrupted time with students. And like I say, that's the perceived advantage, to the balanced school day.
Thank you. Any questions for Trevor? Okay, Trevor, we'll move on, and we're now talking about strategic plan. That's something that's owned by the board. You've given us 2 documents there for people to go ahead and take a look at. And one is certainly about asking to identify dates to develop a new strategic plan. So general comments from anybody about strategic planning? So again, a reminder that Trevor did put on here is that what our priorities are. If you can go to the other that other slide. So community. So in number 3, community engagement, operational department reviews, supporting all learners, staff recruitment and retention, technology, education initiatives. One of the things that the board certainly owns has been about community engagement, particularly about whether you're at PAC meetings or whether you're at concerts or whether you're at events that are going on into our schools. Again, we talked a lot about it at our DPAC meeting about us going out and doing those kind of things. I commend many of you for some of the things that you're doing, because that's one of the things that we can certainly own as to where we are. So that's something for everyone to continue to think about. I think the biggest thing is we do need to get into our calendars, and we do need to decide a date. I'm not going to let you go home tonight until we get some dates here. So we're looking at 2 dates to develop a new strategic plan, and those are the dates that Trevor has there, the 14th, the 21st, the 28th, the 4th, or the 9th. So preference. Mrs. Boytson, I'm going to give you an opportunity to...
I can make any of those days work for me.
Okay. Mr. Dent?
For me, I'd prefer either the 28th or the 4th.
Ms. Smith? Mrs. Wilson? Talk about that? It's in the evening. Yeah, we'd be around 5:30. Okay. Trustee Rowan? Trustee Harris?
I cannot do the 14th.
So can we schedule our first date then the 21st? And then we'll also, let's get the 21st for sure. Okay, we'll get one tonight. So we'll schedule the 21st. Sarah, can you put that into our calendars and go from there? Okay, thank you for that. If we're at 5:30, yes, supper will be brought in. Okay. Well, let's tentatively say the 21st. If there's something different that comes up, what comes up. Notice of motion ward boundaries. Jody, I think that you talked about it last time that we got together. There's really no more information to it.
Yes. Just to update you all, I have engaged with Landmark Planning. They're going to be assisting me with redrawing the boundary lines and the boundary maps. We'll present a tentative idea, but it'll be in June. Just by the timing of it all and reviewing all the voter lists and the municipal properties. It'll take them some time as well to go through the fine-tooth comb of making sure we have the right properties and the right boundaries. So it will be coming. We did have to provide a notice of motion because we are going to be rescinding the last bylaw in motion.
This is a requirement that the province has. We talked about it last time, and we're going to move forward with it. Thanks, Jody, for that. Where am I? Decoration Day service. So there's a motion, be it resolved that the board approve Trustee Wilson to lay a wreath at the Decoration Day in Lac du Bonnet on June the 7th. And a mover and a seconder to it, and we can discuss it. Moved by Trustee Dent, seconded by Trustee Smith. Any questions to it? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. We passed 7-0. Thank you for that. We have 8.6 Lac du Bonnet Senior School. So be it resolved, the board approve in principle the Lac du Bonnet Senior School camping trip to Boyne Lake. Is that how I say it? Boyne Lake on May 27th to 29th, subject to the superintendent's final approval. Moved by Trustee Wilson, seconded by Trustee Rowan. Questions? We'll vote. Passed 7-0. Thank you. Edward Schreier School. So be it resolved that the board approve in principle the Edward Schreier School boys hockey trip to Kelowna, BC, December 10th to 15th, subject to the superintendent's final approval. Moved by Trustee Smith and seconded by Trustee Harris. Any questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. I'm not going to let them go, by the way. It passed 7-0. Thank you for that. Committee reports and recommendations. So there's a number of things that we've had notice of motions for, thanks to the policy committee. Did you want to add anything before we go through them, Trustee Rowan?
Nothing to add. I'll just speak to each one as we go through.
All right. So I'm going to go through them. Be it resolved that the board accept the recommended changes to policy number 4, board operational goals as suggested by the policy committee. Moved by trustee Rowan and seconded by trustee Boytson. Trustee Rowan?
Yeah, so this policy has some pretty minor changes. We did update it to reflect the terminology with the Board of Trustees and the division, as we've been doing in prior policies. We also changed the starting statement just before the numbered points to help with the flow of the policy. Instead of having the board in each statement, we created a stem that said the board will, followed by each point listed below having an action.
Thank you for that. Any other comments? Okay, so hearing none, we'll vote. And it passed 7-0. Thank you. Be it resolved that the board accept the recommended changes to policy number 5, annual planning cycle, as suggested by the policy committee. Moved by trustee Rowan, seconded by trustee Wilson. Trustee Rowan?
This one is our annual planning cycle. We looked at the legend and changed community input and community engagement. Big reasoning behind that is that there are lots of opportunities where we get to engage with the community, but we don't necessarily seek their input. Examples of that would be things like band concerts and different events there. And then looking at the outer circle, which is the board actions, we wanted to add a team building event into there. It's good for a board to have some interactions outside of the boardroom. It helps them typically work better cohesively as a unit. And then we switched the March MSBA conference and the budget release just so that they are in sequential order.
Was that the axe throwing and axe receiving one that we were doing? Any questions on that? Comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote, please. It passed 7-0. Thank you. Be it resolved that the board accept the recommendations changes to policy number 12, respect for human diversity, as suggested by the policy committee. Moved by trustee Rowan and seconded by trustee Boytson.
This is an entirely reworked document done by our then HR manager, Jennifer Tarrant. This rework was done to update for language and consistency with the Manitoba legislation. Policy committee took Jennifer's rewrite and reviewed it and made suggested changes to align with some of our other policies and current practices.
So this is an in-depth policy. It's something new to us. Thank you for going ahead and spending the time on it. Are there any questions from any of the board members?
Paul, I would just say it's not new to us. We did have policy 12, respect for human diversity. It's just been completely reworked.
So thank you for that. I think that from when I took a look at the old policy to the new policy, that there's some changes, which is great. You know, no idea. I just think that there's some very good changes and some in-depth changes too. It's a nice work to the committee. Anybody else? Any comments? Questions? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. It passed 8-0. Thank you for that. 8:13 is be it resolved that the board accept the recommended changes to policy number 16, finances, as suggested by the policy committee. Moved by trustee Rowan, seconded by trustee Wilson.
This is one of 3 policies that was sent to the Finance Committee to review and provide feedback. Policies 16, 17, and 18 on finances, audit, and assets were reviewed by both Policy and Finance Committees before recommendations were brought forward to the board as a whole. For this particular policy, we did make changes to realign the verbiage on the division and board of trustees. And then in 16.1, we removed the superintendent from each bullet point and instead added it to the starting sentence. In that same section, bullet 5, we reworked the wording to align with the stem sentence of the superintendent.
Trustee Boytson, any comment that you want to have on any of these as the chair of finance?
The only one, no, nothing about finance, but just there's a couple items in this policy where the division and the board were missed. It still says the Board of Trustees, and it still says the Board of Trustees, and still says the Sunrise School Division instead of the division. So maybe when they're doing the rewrite, just to make sure that those get picked up. If they're missed, it's not a big deal. We'll catch them in the next round.
Okay.
Just make a note of it.
Thank you for that. Any further comments? Okay, hearing none, we'll vote. Pass 7-0. Go ahead, Mr. Reed.
I just want to make it very clear that the responsibilities of the superintendent and policy 16 have been delegated to the secretary treasurer. And so
I saw Trustee Boyton going over there, so that was good. Yeah, no, thank you for that. So 8.14, be it resolved that the board accept the recommended changes to policy 17, audits, as suggested by the policy committee. Moved by Trustee Rowan and seconded by Trustee Boyton. Any questions, Trustee Rowan, comments?
This one's pretty straightforward. We removed the word duly and changed the "and" to an "and" prior to the word audited in the first sentence.
Trustee Boyton, anything further to comment? Okay, any other comments from anyone? Hearing none, we'll vote. It passed 7-0. Thank you to that. 8:15. Be it resolved that the board accept the recommended changes to policy 18, assets, as suggested by the policy committee. Moved by Trustee Rowan and seconded by Trustee Boyton. Trustee Rowan?
On this policy, we amended wording for consistency around the reference to the division.
Trustee Boyton, anything to add? Anyone else? Hearing none, we'll vote. It passed 7-0. Thank you for that. And be it resolved that the board approve the first reading of the operational bylaw 384-26. Moved by Trustee Rowan, seconded by Trustee Wilson. Comments on the operational bylaw?
For the operational bylaw, we reviewed it and updated language based on any changes we've made through policy changes, updates to language to make it consistent with policies around the board and the division. On page 5, under voting method, we added a line encouraging any trustees that abstain from a vote to provide their rationale for the abstention. And then many of the other changes in this proposed version of the operational bylaw are just changes to bring this document in alignment with our current practices.
Thank you. Anyone else want to comment? So I guess is the intention then that if someone abstains is then that I should be directing a question back to that trustee to allow them the opportunity to provide rationale for that. So falls on me to go back to and ask them to do that? Is that what the expectation is?
I would say that we would then ask you to ask the trustee if they would like to provide a reason. We cannot require someone to, but we are encouraging the trustees to provide a reason for their abstention. It provides some transparency to the public if they're watching the video or the meetings.
Okay, thank you. Provide the opportunity. So I'm assuming then that if I don't provide the opportunity, there'll be a few ladies or gentlemen in here that will remind me to provide the opportunity. All right, so I'll hold you to that, but thank you for that. Okay, any other further comments? Trustee Boyton?
Just a couple changes. Under agenda, number 2, it says no later than noon, 9 o'clock. So I think we have to strike out the word noon. And then on number 3 of the same area agendas, I believe that you have to add meetings instead of meetings. It says agenda packages for regular board meetings. So just if we could make those corrections.
Can you remind me about the time? Sorry, that we're expecting that our agenda package will be out at 9 o'clock in the morning on Fridays. That might not always be possible. I'm not sure where we're looking, sorry, but I just heard you talk about it.
Well, it's not about having the agenda ready for trustees. It's about ensuring that if a trustee is wanting to have something added to the
Okay.
agenda, that's to the agenda setting committee before 9 a.m. so that if your meeting happens to happen before noon, you already have that information.
Okay. So it means then I have to take my phone off mute on those days? Okay, I can do that. Excuse me. Any other comments? All right, Mr. Harris. We'll vote. And it passed 7-0. Thank you for that. Finance Committee, is there anything from the Finance Committee, Trustee Boytson, that you would like to bring forward?
No, our next meeting is on May 21st. That's
Okay.
all.
Thank you. I do not believe that there's anything from the Education Foundation. And just to, Jody, just to let people know, you did have a brief comment at the DPAC meeting about the Education Foundation, so thanks for doing that. But I don't think that we have anything right now. Thank you. Go ahead, Trustee Boytson.
Sorry, our next meeting is May 21st, but I just realized we have to change that because we filled it in today with our strat plan. So we'll make a change to that and send some information out to the trustees on that committee.
You can just meet after the strat plan meeting at 11 o'clock. That'll work for us. Okay, thank you for that. There's nothing from the Ad hoc Land Planning Committee, I'm assuming, Trustee Rowan, thank you. Professional development. So there was a vigorous professional development. Oh, well, this is upcoming. I thought that we were talking about past stuff. Okay. The municipal forum on May the 11th out in Garson. If you haven't got a hold of Sarah or communicated to Sarah about where you are, please do so. I think there's a number of people have communicated with you, Sarah. CSB8 in Whistler. I do think that there's a couple of you that are going, right? Okay. We do expect that 30-page report, when you come back. Thanks, Trustee Wilson. Capsule Conference. Okay, I was just questioning whether I missed it or not, but go ahead, Trustee Smith, capsule report.
Okay, so when I was at the capsule, I started taking pictures, and then they assured me that they were going to have the slides ready, so I stopped taking pictures. I found out earlier today that they're not going to be ready for a couple weeks. So I sat down and started typing up some stuff. So I can have that ready later. So thank you for approving my attendance at the 36th Canadian Association of the Practical Study of Law and Education Conference capsule. It is a place where educators, trustees, lawyers, and union representatives are all passionate about relationships between education and practical application of law get to gather together and learn. Topics at the conference ranged from best practices in HR, which included 10 recent cases in education that have gone as far as the King's Bench. One in Ontario involved a teacher's freedom of expression, on duty and off duty. The myth was that they could express themselves on social media anytime without repercussions. In fact, members of the teaching profession, both on duty and off, can alienate students and are role models in society. They are also representatives of the division at all times. They were encouraged to review the school and employees' policies. So, yes, picture. That our one representative had online was they were held accountable. So freedom of expression was another one I went to. The session explored the freedom of expression across Canada in the legal, human rights, and education obligations and their freedoms. We had members from all provinces and territories, including Nunavut, were represented at the event. Safety in schools.
drawing on real-world scenarios and examined the duty of safeguarding schools from harm by other students and to protect staff from the risks posed by students and colleagues. It highlighted safety planning and offered practical insights for school leaders and real-life examples. One example was a teacher wearing full body padding being injured by a student. The teacher was made to go back to work. Next one was medical accommodations. This presentation talked about the importance of documentation. They had case examples showing the school board's duty to accommodate and also gave information on the changing nature of disabilities requiring accommodation, the type of medical information to request, and how to work through accommodations. Parents do not have the right to dictate education. The most important thing they mentioned was that you need to show that you tried. You communicated and documented everything. The next one I went to was parental rights in sexual education. This presenter was a francophone. He nervously translated into English, so some parts were very hard to understand. The topic was government often using sexual education to opt out balanced parental objections with their educational duties. One teacher from Ontario mentioned that they had 300 out of 7 opt out of sexual education. They then had to provide alternative options and find teachers to cover the classes at additional cost. In Alberta, they are also dealing with exclusion and banning books instead of inclusion. Also, case law shows that mandatory sex education does not violate parental or religious rights when it is objective, neutral, educational, and justified. At the end, he said that tolerance is always age appropriate. One of the last ones I attended was legal literacy and access to justice. This session was about access to justice for students by integrating practical law into the classroom. Educators can empower youth to navigate legal systems and exercise their rights. We were given an opportunity to participate in a group exercise. So we were all given a piece of paper with a description of a youth. In a different environment, we would have been made to stand in a line. For every good thing, you would get a +1 or 2. So you would step up or step back 2 for every negative thing, or every positive thing. In negative, you would step back 1 or 2. When we were done, the presenter asked who had Amy or who had Pierre, which is who I had. We then discussed how we thought they would do in the legal system and how it would affect their experiences in the justice system. I had Pierre. He was a 12-year-old student living in an urban big city, local courthouse, living in Montreal. He lived with 2 parents, both working full-time. He was not working. He had full support of his parents, family income, over $230,000, 2 family cars. He spoke French fluently. He had access to tech. He had high literacy. He was bullied in school, fought back, suspended from school, pending expulsion. I said that I believe that Pierre had high chances because he had access to funding. He was living in an urban city. He could get back to court, back and forth, no problem. Other people they didn't have jobs, their parents didn't have jobs, or they were kids in the system. So it was an amazing experience to find out the differences and where you came from would affect how the justice system could affect you. So it was a very good experience on that, and I believe that the Capsule conference is extremely valuable to us, in that we should be sending more than 2
more than one representative because I couldn't get to everything. And Serena, you had, I think, 8 people there. Like, I wasn't able to attend everything. So if, I think before we did a resolution from the floor for everyone, for some people to look at the slides after the fact. We did last year. So if we could do that, like I'm going to try to put a thing together later to put on the next meeting. But I put this together today. I'm rambling now, but anyway. So I'll encourage everyone to check out their website. I'll let you guys know when the slides are available and read their newsletters because I'm still spiraling from all the info that came back from it. I'm still going crazy. So, anyway, that's my spiel.
Thank you very much. Any questions for Trustee Smith? So what I'm hearing is that Sunrise could send 1, but MTS had to send 8 people, and
I was amazed by how many people were there.
That's kind of what I got out of this. So thanks very much for going ahead and sharing there. No, thanks for sharing. Excuse me. We do not have a divisional summary report. Board correspondence. There's a bunch of information on nice to know and board correspondence information. I would encourage everyone to go ahead and read that. Something that's debatable, some information there over the next little while. But thanks Sarah for putting together the information. Anytime, bus driver appreciation, some of the stuff that's going on in our schools with drama, those kind of things, pretty great to hear. So thank you for that. We have upcoming meetings on May the 19th and June the 2nd, and we just added a meeting tonight on the 21st. For our strategic plan. Thank you. There's a press release here for our I call it a workplace. It's not called that anymore. It's a work safe. What is it called now? Workplace safety and health. Well, I knew that. It says here at WSH, and so that doesn't what says the workplace safety and health though. But there we go. But anyways, we've got somebody. Thank you for doing that, and welcome aboard. Dawn, welcome aboard to Dawn for joining us. Thank you for that. Again, a number of things coming on with MSBA. We talked a little bit about that. One of the things that's still always difficult is hub and insurance, and again, I don't know how that seems to be working, but it seems like they're going to get you at the insurance is getting us. Anyways. There's an election webinar information there. And if any of you are interested in, one of the things, the memo for call for mentors, if any of you are interested in putting your name forward to go ahead and potentially mentor new trustees in the fall, if that's something that you're interested in, certainly go ahead and put that out. Okay, so we do. I do need to thank you. Are there any questions from the public? Jody, are there any questions that are online? Sarah, any comments or questions that you have that you would like to? Serena, not Sarah. Serena, anything that you would like to share?
Okay, just one question. Trevor, you mentioned at the beginning that there was a cohort, a leadership cohort. How does one get their name on the leadership cohort? Just so I can pass it along to all the teacher people I know.
The invitation is sent out to all of our teaching staff in Sunrise. And so they get that, to their Sunrise emails, and anyone is welcome to sign up and attend.
So to follow up with that, once a year it gets sent out, or multiple times? If they want to email you, can they email you now and let you know?
So we call it a leadership cohort, but it really doesn't necessarily exist outside of the 3 sessions or 4 sessions that we do in the spring. And so we'll send out the invitation, in early March, and we'll send it out a second time just in case someone has missed it. And then, people sign up for either all 3 or 1 or 2 of the sessions, whatever works with their calendars, and then they attend. So,
Serena, I have a question for you. And you don't have to answer this question if not, but I heard something that came from Capsule, which kind of shocked me a little bit.
Okay.
No, you don't have to.
Well,
go
I have
in.
my notes over there, but I'll try to remember.
Okay, but the question that Trustee Smith said was, teachers don't have to, maybe teachers can post anything online and can't be held accountable. Is that, they
No,
can be?
Can, yeah, you missed, yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
I missed that then.
Yes,
Okay, because I thought that was that they can post anything and not be held accountable.
I know, I saw your reaction.
Yes.
Yes, no, they can. They can be held accountable. It was quite interesting to listen to that presentation because they said some very specific things that I thought wouldn't apply, but they did. Like, for example, if you're out at an event and you're celebrating a friend's birthday and you have a glass of wine, right, and you post it online, like that could not end up so well.
My expectation is that our teachers in our communities are held a little bit to a higher account as to where they are. In social media, they need to be very careful. And thanks for letting me know that that they can be held. You know what? Our parents entrust their children to our teachers. And I'm not saying that any of our teachers are doing anything, but I'm glad to hear that I misheard.
Yeah, 100% can be.
Okay, thank you. We are going to go back into in-camera. I don't know if there's any business out of that. Is there, Mr. Harris? Oh, go ahead. Why can't we read the slides? Oh, a resolution to read the slides and I see what you're saying.
We can bring it up next meeting
Yeah.
because I understand it won't. The slides won't be up until mid-May, and even I believe last year not all the slides were up to warrant a full day or something. So, but we can bring it up at the next meeting.
We're talking about professional development for trustees and whether we. Okay. So keep that in mind, Trustee Smith, as to where we are, if there's there, and certainly let us know when you've received it and it can go up online. So I'm assuming then there's nothing else that we're doing with business, and so we can end our meeting and go into in camera. Okay, so I'm going to adjourn the meeting. And thanks very much, Serena, for joining us.